more importantly, and the most important reason we have the show today, because of our guest who is in studio, draft eligible sophomore, old as dirt as a sophomore, Grant Taylor. Thanks for coming in, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
We talked a little bit off
Get up on that
air.
microphone, dog. Don't be,
Oh yeah, slide that thing up. There's no.
talk to me
Give it a
like
little
that.
back end tilt right there. There you go.
Yeah.
Wait. Help him out, Jared. Help him out. Help him out. Help him out. Help him
Is it
out.
too strong?
We probably should have done this before the show. Now pull the stick out. You know what I mean?
Y'all are seeing how. There you go.
No. Yeah, you do it. Produce. You produce.
There we go.
There we go.
What's wrong with you? I don't know what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all do it all the time. Y'all
There
got
we
it
go.
now.
You just said no, but I was doing it.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
We talked a little bit off air, about the team, about the guys, about what you expect. But what I want to talk about is you, right? So last year you came in as a freshman. You had some innings on the mound. You threw well, and then you go into the summer, and I feel like something happened, right? Like something must have clicked. I don't know if you changed something, but you dominated in the Cape. You come back in the fall, you continue that dominance, and then you get rated as a 15th rated high school or college draft prospect, right? What went into that? What changed, if anything changed? And, how much are you looking forward to actually getting on the field and doing it?
Yeah, I think for the Cape, just to start off, I think that was because I threw really well at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Threw all the way up until Bama. I was throwing really well. And then something on the mound was just off. It felt uncomfortable. It was y'all play
Yep.
one thing in your swing and it's just
Yeah.
you can't figure it out. Yeah. And so me and Coach Johnson at the end of the year had our exit meeting. He was see, you could be really good, but you don't make the adjustments near as fast. I want you to you're making adjustments game to game instead of at bat to at bat. So going to the Cape, it was just kind of what do I want to get out of this? And my only goal in the entire Cape was make adjustments as quick as possible. And then it kind of as I got there, towards the end, it was I wanted to attack early, get
Right.
deep,
Once you figure out something, you move on to the next
yeah.
goal, right? Yeah, for sure.
But I think it was just kind of a mindset adjustment. Just attack hitters, make adjustments as quick as possible, and then in the fall, I think I've made the even bigger, even more of a jump because Wes Johnson's
I was about to ask about
he's
Wes.
insane.
Is he awesome?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's the most knowledgeable person in any room I've ever been in with him. It's pretty insane.
So tell us about it then. So you that's moving on to a new voice. Wes is the new guy there. How has that transition been for you and for the entire pitching staff of just having a new guy there and kind of getting to learn him and him getting to learn y'all as well?
Yeah, it's been huge for everyone. Mindset. He's big in the mental game. He knows everything there is to know about mechanics and stuff like that. But I think purely a lot of guys, what's been big for them is pitch plan, throwing to hitters' weaknesses and really understanding that and him putting in terms that we can understand quickly and we can hop on board with it. And then you've seen, Ty Floyd at the end of the season was great last year, and then he's made an even bigger jump this fall because Wes is there and can kind of give him the path for success. So I think he's been huge.
Yeah.
So when you last year you're sitting what, mid to upper mid 90, 95,
Yeah.
94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
In the Cape you're sitting 98, 97, 98, or you're touching 98, right? Did anything go into that progression of did you change anything to increase or sustain the velo throughout the course of the game, or is that just kind of the natural progression of just getting more innings, understanding what you're doing, repeating it? What goes into that?
I think it was kind of just the built up on the innings. Towards the end of the season, the college season last year, I hit 98 a couple times. But also in the Cape, I was just trying to be smoother down the mound, kind of let the motion happen instead of force things and force adjustments. So I think that was big. And then I've made a few minor things this fall that have kept me in the 97 range.
Because that feels like everybody.
Well, I'll tell you.
96.
I'll tell you. See, you see the smile on his face right here.
Yeah.
I have a quote from someone very, very, very close to the program who said, "I don't think I've ever seen it this deep on a college staff ever in my life before."
I've also got a quote from somebody very close to the program that said, "This pitching staff alone may have 6 first-rounders."
Yeah.
Talent-wise.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gotta be
Oh,
fun
but
to be in that room, right?
Yeah,
like
it's gotta be fun, right?
to be to go there, you're throwing like everybody's. One, you want everybody to do well, and two, seeing them do what they're doing is good for everybody. Like you it elevates your game, it elevates the guy next to your game because you want to continue to grow and get better because you don't want necessarily to be passed up. Right? Competition is good. Is that what y'all feel?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's always a competition. Everything we do, like me and like we compete in the weight room. We've played games this fall where it's like there's been a bucket and we're just tossing balls in the bucket, but it would be like a pitching staff wide competition.
Right.
Like everything we do is competition, but it's all like it's all love. Like we all want everyone to succeed, but it's also with the amount of guys in there. Like I didn't have a changeup last year, but I want to work on one, so I can go to Ty Floyd to whoever it may be and be like, yo, how do you?
Does he have the best changeup? Is he the best changeup on the team? Yeah,
it's pretty good. And we throw from like, I mean, I'm a little bit like higher, but similar, like over the top. So I thought he'd be a good person to go to. But like everyone is like open for questions, because his game's elevated whenever I'm open to him, mine's open when he's open to me. So it's a lot of fun.
Because there's a world where that goes the other way, right? Where he sees the way that like Jay Johnson's building this team. He's bringing a bunch of people in that like you may not know everybody. You were on staff before, but then when they get here, you kind of have to not make them, but you want them to feel welcomed, because this is a new way to do college baseball. Like LSU has never done it like this before. Jay brings in all these new faces. It doesn't make any sense if you aren't cohesive together. So it's good to see that it's going the right way, as opposed to like, no, bro, everybody's talking behind each other's backs. We're all just here to be for 1 year, go to the league. I want to be the ace, like all that stuff. I haven't heard a single thing about that from all the guys that have come through here.
No, everybody talks about the team and how excited they are with the team going forward. You talked about Wes. How much does he talk, coach up, bring up the analytics, like spin rate stuff? Like, is he big on that, or is that just part of his teaching, right? Like, some people are like, oh, it's the only thing they talk about, but then they don't use really their eyes and like the common sense of baseball, and there's other guys that kind of have a happy medium. What kind of coach is he, and like how much has that been, or how helpful has that been to the pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, he's huge on analytics, huge on numbers, but he also has like the eye part of it. Like I'll be throwing, and he'll pick something up mid outing, and then afterwards he'll like dive into the analytics, and he'll be like, I saw this whenever you're throwing. Here's what we need to change. Here's why. Here's all these reasons. So he's kind of a mix of both, but I think he might know the most analytics I've ever seen in baseball.
What's the big one that he harps on the most?
There's the one that I thought was the coolest that I've only ever heard him say once, and it was like force plate mounds and like the force plate hitting stuff. Like he was pretty much the one with the idea for the force plate mount.
Really?
Yeah.
Catch any residuals for that?
Did
you make any money? I mean, you're the finance guy.
Maybe that's how we got him here.
I just like coaching ball. Now I'm good.
Yeah. But
That's crazy.
He was good friends with someone who did force plates, and he kind of mapped out like what he wanted the guy to do, and how he wanted it to be, for how he thought he could help him, and the dude made it. And so now force plates are huge in like pitching.
That's crazy.
I bet him and Marucci are going to be great friends.
That's
just
crazy.
a couple of tinkerers.
Yeah, he'll be in there.
Well, Jack doesn't really do much of that anymore.
You'd be surprised.
Wait, you talk about Ty and picking his brain on his changeup. You talked about being in the Cape and how it was huge for you your huge goal there was to make adjustments. How has it been with the things that have clicked over the back end of the season last year through the Cape and all that stuff? How has it been for you with your off-speed stuff and being able to make adjustments? Is that stuff coming along quicker as well? Like, how does that go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely coming on a little bit quicker. I think another thing with this fall, though, is like I got through lineups last year in the season just on two seams and cutters. Right. And, like, I could do that in the fall, too. Like, I could go out every single outing in the fall and throw two seam and cutter, and I could get outs. But that's not what's going to – whenever me and, like, Wes have, like, had conversations about, like, where I wanted to go and, like, the plans for the spring, like, that's not what's going to make me as successful as possible.
Right.
So there'd be an outing where, like, the cutter is my favorite pitch to throw, and I'd throw one of them, and I'd just be all speed, like doing all
and
that stuff like that.
Was good. I was going to ask that question. Like, what has he done to help you change the way you approach hitters, right? Like, because everybody's got, like, as a hitter, you have one way, okay, this is how I'm going to hit. This is what I like to do. This is what I think my strengths are. This is what I think makes me the best hitter. And then you get a hitting coach, and something clicks, and you have this conversation. You're like, well, that's not. This is what you should be doing, and then all of a sudden you do it, and you do your numbers are way better, right? What has he done, or if he's done anything to help you change the way you attack hitters and the way that you approach how you pitch?
Yeah, I think he kind of showed me we get TrackMan reports after every outing, and one thing that was like that clicked once he like showed me and like pointed it out was like my four seam, for example, like it plays a lot better up in the zone. And so I was
a lot of ride to it? What is it? Is it IVB?
IVB,
What
yeah.
is your IVB?
My highest is like 25.
Whoa!
But the highest on the staff, I think, is 27.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
Like, what's normal? Like 17?
Like
16?
18 to 20, 21. That's my four seam will average around 19, 20. But like I'll get the occasional one that just like jumps.
Yeah.
Wow. But he like showed me the swing and miss, like the swings on all like on the like the strike zone, and like you'd see contact. But then once you got like above the belt, above the belt, it was like swing and miss. So like that was just one thing that he's like shown that was like pretty obvious. Like once you're like actually look at it,
right?
Like, yeah.
Hey, don't tell me that what I'm doing. Show me why we need to do it.
Uh-huh.
Right? I think that's the beauty about it.
And to flip it to the other side too, because you probably don't hear much of the other side of it, but he can tell you too. Like as a hitter, handling the belt is like it's pretty doable, but once you start like floating and staying at the belly button and kind of like teasing me with the belly button and maybe getting, dude, it's
what are we
it's
talking
really
about
hard.
Here?
See, here we go. Here we go. He couldn't
resist.
Teasing me with the belly button.
Once you
got a long way to go.
Once you get over that area, like when you can kind of stay there, it becomes like really hard for a hitter to like decipher one if it's a strike because they all look the same in that area then, and then now you don't know when to swing and not to, and that's a really you really can't catch up to belly button higher.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, is this something that is you're able to do innately with this IBV, like be able to get rise, or something that can be taught? Because it feels like when it came onto the scene, it was like, oh, this guy's fastball just has rise to it. It's not like something that you can work on. It felt like, but has there been strides in that in terms of pitching, like where there's a process you can go through to be able to get more rise, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to everything where you can do stuff like I changed my four seam grip a little bit to where I was like more on the seams and ripping through it a little bit more. And then like trying to like feel my hand out there a little bit differently than how I had been before. But at the end of the day, like some guys are gonna have more. Like Ty Floyd's rides a lot. Bryce Collins' rides a lot. He's always gonna have a little bit more than someone with like a lower arm slot. And so it kind of depends on like just who you are. Like for Paul Skeens, I mean, he's from the side. Really good for him is 14, 15.
Yeah.
But because he's from the side, it plays up a lot more than 14, 15.
And there's 100.
Yeah, and he throws 100. Yeah.
And he's 7'2".
Bombs.
Yeah.
And he's 7'2".
It's crazy. We've had some hitters come on, right? Dylan Cruz has been on the show. A bunch of the guys have come on the show. I've asked
Tommy
him this,
Tanks.
Huh?
The
Tommy
Tanks.
Tanks. I've asked him the question from the hitter's perspective, right? Because the pitching staff has been so deep. The hitting, the lineup's obviously very good, but the pitching staff's been so deep, and they're facing guys throwing 95 to 99 miles an hour regularly. Doesn't seem like they are going to face a better staff in the regular season than the guys that they're facing right now, right, every day. And asking how much better that's made them and all that stuff. So I want to flip it to you, right? Now, the pitching staff, you have to go up against a lineup full of All-Americans, a lineup that if you make a mistake, they can leave the yard anytime they want, right? I think anybody in the lineup really can do that. How much better has that made y'all as a staff, and how much have you learned about yourself going up against guys that are going to be 1 overall draft picks, first-round picks, second-round picks throughout the course of the fall?
Yeah, I think it's made everyone better. Because, I mean, if you take Dylan, for example, like, you throw a really good pitch, you get him 0-2, you throw a great pitch that he does a really good take, you make one mistake, 1-2, and it's in the seats. Like, we had a lot of that early in the fall where we have a lot of really good pitches. You make one mistake, it's a ball in the gap. It's a ball maybe Trey Morgan fights it off, and then he gets a really good pitch later. And so I think as a staff, later on, you see the same hitters over and over again.
Yeah.
So you start to pick up their weaknesses, and you really start to pitch to that plan and pitch to their weaknesses. And you'll make a mistake and they'll put one in the seats. It's whatever. But
they should. That's better
Well,
for you.
that's because you see them all the time. So
yeah.
Right.
it's part of it too.
And I think it was kind of big for us, especially with Wes, mapping it out and helping us with it, is really selling out to our pitch plan and really selling out to the weaknesses and where our strengths are and stuff like that. So it's made everyone better because, I mean, in high school, I could throw 92 and down the middle and get away with it.
Yeah.
But now I'm facing Dylan Cruz.
Right. You throw 92 down the middle. He's like,
92 down the middle.
Thank you. I'm hitting the ball over the hitter's eye.
How much do you guys as a group of pitchers, and then obviously as a group of position players, how much do y'all talk to each other about helping each other out? What you see, what they see, what you may be giving up,
question.
what they may be giving up, stuff like that. Because that stuff like that helps, but not every team usually does it. So
Yeah, I think it's pretty open.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Gavin. Yeah, it was Gavin Dugas. I threw him a first pitch slider, and he hit it for a double. And I was that was a really good pitch. It was on the corner, at his knees. What? How do you hit that? So I he was open because I went up to him and asked him about that, and he talked about previous at bats that he had against me, and what he was thinking about going into that at bat. That helped him to hit a double off me on a pitch that I thought was exactly what I wanted to do. And I've done that with multiple guys, just ask questions. So it's pretty open.
I think that's a huge part of a team, right? Because hitters see things that pitchers don't see, right? You can be throwing bullpens around your guys in the pitching staff, and they're not going to see something because they don't look at a pitcher the same way a hitter would look at a pitcher, and vice versa, right? You look at hitters differently than hitters. When you have pitchers and hitters working together, say, hey, man, this is what I saw. I may be wrong. I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about, but this is what I saw, and then alert you to something, whether it's, you're tipping or, something just looks a little different and brought it to your attention and you're able to fix it, either in game or after game. That's huge. When I was playing in Detroit, Shane Green was one of my buddies. He was a closer for us. And I was I was playing well, and I went through a 10-day stretch. I'm like, man, something just feels off. And so I was saying it, and Shane, without me asking him, came up to me in the dugout and said something hey, man, it looks like you're doing this. I don't really know. I don't hit, but it looks like this is what you're doing. I went home. I went to that day after the game. I went into the video, watched it. Oh shit, that's what it is. And then the next 10 days, I got went on a 10-game hitting streak. It's just something like that easy, but to have the connection, I think is super important, especially with a bunch of new guys. And that's gonna be my next question: is with all these new guys, obviously they had to fall, so you have time to get acclimated to Louisiana, to the guys on the team. How has that been with y'all, just everybody acclimating to each other and kind of getting on the same page? Because a lot of these guys came from different universities, right? Which is kind of hard when you're not coming from high school to college. You're going from one college to another college, and you have different voices. How has that been? And are y'all pretty tight?
Yeah, we're pretty tight. At the beginning of the year, we had a mental coach come in, and
I love that.
we ate lunch, and one thing he kind of noted was that all the guys that knew each other sat over here, all the new guys sat over here. And when we went in the meeting, he was like, well, what'd y'all notice about that? And so we spouted off some ideas, and someone finally got it right. But it pointed out that as there's there was 20 new guys or something like that. So there's half the team from last year is gone. We don't know half the team. And just purely on paper, we have a really good team, but we're not going to do anything. If you can't trust the guy that's sitting right next to you, I can't trust the guy that's going with the bat. So we've been pretty deliberate about mixing it up, talking to new guys, and
It's
that was
the Titans.
Well, it's a little different, but
No, we gotta go. You gotta go.
okay,
See,
same-
yeah, you gotta
same
go.
concept, Jesus.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking too.
yeah. I can see it in your eyes. You gotta go get to know your teammates. What your daddy do?
Oh my god.
So that's how you build camaraderie, though, because it's easy for guys. Even though they don't know each other, the group that came into the transfer portal, that's the one thing they all have in common, right? So they're all going to naturally kind of go towards each other. It's well, we have one thing that I know we can all talk about, and then the guys that are on the teams, like, you already know each other. So it takes almost a third party to be like, y'all didn't even realize that y'all were doing this, but you're doing this because it's almost like first day of school, like, oh, we all went to junior high together, now we're in high school, and then there's an influx of, like, sophomores and juniors, like, I don't know any of these people, so I'm going to hang out with the friends I'm comfortable with. And so to have, like, a mental coach come in and be like, look, you have to kind of stop this right now, so it's going to get worse. Like, there's a chance you could form a divide in that way.
How's that thing been? So, like, this is, like you said, like, this transfer portal thing is pretty new, and, especially with the volume of people that are in it and that move. You guys got a bunch of transfers in, right? But you also have a bunch of incoming freshmen that came in. I got to imagine for those young guys that came in, this situation's tough because you're not just getting guys from here, you're getting guys from there, that's been here. How has it been for those young guys kind of mixing into this group?
I think it's been good for them. I mean, I haven't really heard any of them talk about it being bad. I think everyone's just excited that we got guys like Tommy Tanks and Thatcher and all these guys coming in because the better guys we get, the more games we're going to win.
The names that you keep coming on, I'm just like, Jesus.
Like, I forgot about Thatcher, actually.
How's that?
Really forgot about him, but like,
yeah,
you haven't really heard much.
Well,
Because
if it's one team would be like excited to get Tommy Tanks, they'd be like, this would be the capstone of the class. Like, oh, we went to the portal and got Tommy. Like, that's what Florida would probably feel like. LSU, it's like just you're on the hit squad now. Like, it's just one name after another.
what's the expectation, right? Like, everybody has expectations. Everybody says, man, Omaha's the goal. Omaha's where we want to be. We need to win a national championship. Some teams say they kind of shy away from saying, oh, we're just taking one game at a time. Obviously, you got to do that, the cliche stuff. But like when we were there, they had just made it to Omaha, right? When I came in as a freshman, they weren't shy about saying, hey, if we don't make it to Omaha, we don't win the World Series, like we're going to be disappointed in ourselves, right? Like that's what they were saying. Like the older guys were telling the younger guys. And so for me, I think it's important not to shy away from those expectations, but internally, obviously, y'all know how good you are. Do y'all have that kind of air of confidence? Like, you know what? We're good enough. Like Omaha is the goal. Like going win a national championship. It's not just words. It's something that we truly believe in.
Yeah, I think national championship is what we believe in. I mean, LSU, we got 6 of them. Like,
Right.
I don't think LSU. I'm going to Omaha is always cool. Like
Yeah.
I've never been. Both my brothers have
That was
been.
gonna be my next question. Too. Go ahead.
And they both like really enjoyed it, and they didn't win a national championship, but they thought Omaha was the coolest thing ever. But at LSU, like it's a tradition. Like
Right.
there was years and years and years where not a single class had not made it to Omaha.
Right.
And so I think just purely us as like competitors and stuff, and the tradition of the program and all the guys we brought in, like national championship is the top for us. Like that's the only thing we're going for. And but we also know that you don't win a national championship by wanting to win a national championship. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You got to make it to the SEC tournament before you can make it to a regional, before you can make it to a super.
Some may argue that the SEC tournament may be tougher than the national championship, rather than Omaha, just because of the teams that you have to play in tournament and the way you're doing it, and how short the time frame is. But I love to hear you talk about your brothers. All right, that was gonna be my next question to you. Obviously, very baseball athletic family, right? For those that don't know, tell everybody the family tree, where the brothers went to school, where they played, and you played against your second brother, right? Yeah, your middle brother.
Yeah. So Colin, my oldest brother, he graduated high school like 2016, so he's a little bit older than me, like pretty solid bit older than me. He went to JUCO for 2 years. Then he went to Arkansas for 2 years, and then UAB for 2 years.
Stinky.
6.
Yeah, 6. Because he
COVID? Was he
COVID? Yeah, COVID. He redshirted his first year at Walters because they had like a recruiting thing where they weren't allowed to be in the playoffs. So their coach was like, we'll redshirt you this year, playoffs next year, and then you'll get out of here. But then he tore his UCL. Damn. So he went to Arkansas with a torn UCL, threw for him.
Through with a torn UCL.
No, he repaired it.
Surgery.
Yeah, he had surgery, and then
so
the
he
next
went
year,
there injured. Like,
he went there rehabbing,
right.
and then
You had me confused there too. I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah. So then he spent 2 years there, 2 years at UAB. So he was a 6th year. And then Evan did all 4 years at Arkansas, threw like maybe a combined 20 innings his first 3 years, and then
Shoved, right?
like shoved for him, like went 3 of 3 down twice against us. It wasn't.
Yeah,
fun,
I remember that.
It wasn't a fun time in the
And
family.
that's why I wanted to
Catching
ask.
eyes, or are you just like this guy?
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask, because I knew both of them went to Arkansas, right? But like, so what? How did that happen? Like, they went to Arkansas. You're from Alabama, right? So they go to Arkansas. You come to LSU.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So Arkansas is actually kind of a crazy story. Like, I was at team trials for 15U national team, USA, and like Michael Brooks, who's at, I think he went to UCF. He went to Arkansas, then UCF. He was talking to my dad. My dad was talking about how Evan was like 90 mile an hour from the left side, like good slider, whatever, just kind of going through like all their kids. And he was like, "Is he going anywhere?" He's like, "No." He's just, I need to get on the phone with someone right now. So we like called Arkansas, like just right there in the middle of the conversation. I think it may have been Wes, Coach Wes, that he called.
He was
Yeah.
there.
I can't remember if he called Coach Wes or maybe the recruiting coordinator, but my dad talked to him on the phone for a little bit. And then eventually, I don't know if it was Wes then or Wes after, but what Coach Wes was like, yeah, I remember seeing him seeing him at Lake Point, being like, I like this kid.
Yeah.
Like, and asking the dude next to me, like, is he going anywhere? He's like, yeah, I think he's committed. So like Wes hopped off of him. And so he went on a visit like a week later, committed on the spot. And then was at Arkansas from then on out. But whenever, like, I got to LSU because Cole Henry is from my high school.
Okay.
So he was like best friends with my brother growing up.
He's doing it too. He's pitching well.
Yeah. He he just had TOS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But he's throwing. He should be good.
Thoracic. That's a crazy surgery, man. It's like a rib, right? Like a loose rib.
Yeah,
or something?
the first rib, it's like
Yeah.
it was pinching a nerve, so it was just kind of
I've seen like 4 or 5
affecting.
A lot of
guys.
people-
I've seen like 4 or 5 guys
Will
have it
Harris
and
had
keep
it?
it.
Didn't need it.
Well, I've seen people like have it and keep it like Ziploc bag, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he has a this thing.
there you go. Yeah, like
So there you
legit.
go. Finish.
Legit. They give it to you on the way out. Like, hey, you want
Just in
this?
case you didn't put it back in there.
Exactly, yeah.
What?
Like the Bible.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So then you
Yeah.
knew Cole Henry.
So Cole Henry kind of got in contact with LSU through him. Nolan Kane saw me throw. Alan Dunn saw me throw. Went through the whole recruiting process with them. Talked to Arkansas. Everyone always asks me like why I didn't go to Arkansas. Like I talked to them like once.
They didn't reach out to you.
Yeah, I talked to Coach West like once, but they weren't on 2021s yet, so I didn't go down that route. Kind of wanted that to be my brother's thing,
Yeah.
so I didn't like pursue it heavily. But when I stepped on campus, my recruiting visit, it was like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like,
so where'd y'all? I mean, you can't disclose everything, but where'd y'all go on the recruiting?
But tell us everything.
Yeah, what'd y'all do?
Yeah, my big 3 were Vandy, Auburn, and then LSU.
Who Vandy would have
I'd
been?
imagine that Vandy recruiting trip and the LSU recruiting trip with the boys are a little bit different.
I don't know. Vandy's a Nashville coach.
I've been, but I'm just saying, it just feels like you hit a little bit different if you're
When
an
you
LSU
came on the
baseball
visit
player.
here, though, what made it different for you? Like, what you said, I walked on campus and I knew, like, damn, that's where I need to be. Like, what was, because when you're coming out, right, LSU's obviously still really good. They're still a name brand in college baseball, but Vandy was kind of like the standard at the time, right? They were winning national championships. They still obviously are very good. When you came on campus, like, what made your mind up, like, damn, this is where I need to be?
Yeah, so I guess that visit would have been like 2017. So this is like right after Omaha. The first thing I say when I call them, they're like, meet us under the flags. So I go and stand under the flags. And I'm looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay,
That's a lot of flags here.
Great move.
and then they like come out and get me, kind of show me around. And I'm looking at the stadium. It was like, Vandy's isn't this big. Auburn's isn't this big. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Go look at all the facilities. Talk to Coach Maneri. Talk to Coach Dunn. Conversations went great, and just where I ended up, where it felt like would be my best path to do what I wanted.
Who's your host?
It was I didn't have a host because I was unofficial.
Oh, it was unofficial.
Yeah,
So you
'cause
never came
I was
on
in
an official
ninth grade.
visit.
Never came on an official
Wow.
because of COVID.
Oh,
Wow,
I forgot
that's
about
crazy.
that. Damn, official visits where all the fun happens.
Yeah.
You get to go do all the
So
things.
Broadway art, well, you know.
Well, did you go on officials anywhere else, or you just when you committed?
No,
and
you
then
think it's
that was
COVID.
it?
Yeah, the COVID I couldn't. But
go anywhere.
No, you
I
just
mean,
said
I
that.
wouldn't have anyway. Like I would,
Yeah, right.
You in a 101.
Yeah, you got you out there.
Listen, I had a good time. We got Gosman came on his visit, and it was me and Renato, and Maneri like never does this, but Maneri took us in his office and he said, "Hey, gotta get this kid. Do what you gotta do. We gotta get this kid. Show him a good time." All right. Showed him a good time. He committed the next day. If you talk to him today, he'll tell you stories. We had a good time.
I think it's funny though hearing about him and his brothers. I don't think people understand like how easily it happens, but like it is very easy to slip through the cracks. And it
Especially
doesn't
in
matter
baseball.
how good you are in baseball. Like there's so much good baseball that's played, and then obviously like there's so many kids playing baseball. It's so easy to slip through the cracks, and it's
not as prevalent on social media. It's starting to get that way, but like football, everybody's got a huddle and they've got their highlight films, and like baseball, it's hard to see. Like there's a lot of guys that hit the ball far, throw the ball hard, and run really fast, but stink when they get into the game, right? Like it's hard to do it because you have to go watch the game film to really see how good they are.
Yeah.
Well, and baseball's never going to really change, right? Like it's the people that are in charge of that kind of stuff, especially from the pro level. It's like they're still doing pen and paper.
No, they're changing.
But here's the thing too. Here's the weird thing too. Like, and I can say this, and obviously you kind of already touched on it. But like, if you got a kid who, let's just say he's a pitcher who sits 92, and or a hitter who is good in his area and good on the circuit that he's played in and travel ball that he's played in, but all he's really seen is like 89 and 92. And that same pitcher, all he's really seen is that type of hitter, right? And then now you bump it up, and now he's facing 93. He's seen some 3s and 6s and 7s, and he can't touch a ball. It's a jump. It's a huge jump.
Yeah,
and as a pitcher, it's a huge jump when you got guys that you can dominate that, and then all of a sudden they can hit 92, and they can handle 92 easily. Well, shit, what else do I have? Like, right? You know what I mean? Like,
then you gotta learn how to pitch.
Yeah, then you gotta learn how to pitch. And it's the same thing as a hitter. He's like, hey, I can hit a fastball that's 92. I can't hit the one that's 96 and at the belt. And I definitely can't adjust to anything after that. So I'm screwed now. I look good, though, when I face that.
It's like what you were saying when you were in high school. It's like I could have gotten away with 92 over the middle. Right. Now, if I do that, it's 450 in the seats.
Right. And some guys never figure out how to pitch and do other stuff. Some guys never learn how to hit and do other stuff. It's just, it happens.
Outside of the usual suspects on the team, Dylan Cruz, all those guys, hitters, pitchers, whatever, who's the guy that you've been impressed with the most that you're like, damn, okay, this guy either has been on the team, made this huge jump that like he looks like a different player, or a new guy that came in and you're like, damn, I didn't know he was that good, but he's that good?
I think there's two new guys. I think Paul Skeens, obviously, get those 99, 100, and hits tanks. Like that's cool to watch. And then Paxton Kling was a new guy that surprised me.
And you talked about it because we talked about it on the show. Paxton came on the show, I guess right around the draft time when he decided when he came out and said he wasn't going to go to the draft. And it was a video interview and we were talking to him, and he just seemed very mature and very like calm. Didn't seem like he wasn't nervous about being on a show, and he wasn't nervous about talking. He just very comfortable. And obviously we watched video of him, so we had seen it, and that the fact that you're saying that he has a chance to fight his way into maybe in the starting line or a role is pretty impressive. What are they going to do at second base? I've got a lot of guys competing right for second.
Yeah, there's a lot right now. I mean, we got Gavin over there, Ben, JT can. I don't really know like the whole there's so many guys that like I don't know how it's going to shake out with like the three positions, but there's going to be some mix of all those guys, and then Guidry too. Gavin and both Gavins are over there.
And then what about the catching position? There's I feel like there's a lot of catchers. You got like 3 or 4 now on the team. I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but has anybody really separated themselves? Are they going to go with the veteran, or are they going to go with a new guy? Like, you don't know. Let me rephrase that. Not who are they going to go with. Who has impressed you behind the plate as far as things that they've done, either calling a game, catching a game, or offensively?
Yeah, I mean Milazzo is Milazzo. Like
he throws everybody out. Yeah,
throws everyone out, and he's a good receiver, so he's always fun to throw too. Yeah, and he's hilarious.
I heard he's the funniest guy on the team.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that from multiple sources.
We came up with a list one day, and it was like
great. Let's go down.
It was Milazzo, Josh Pearson.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's a funny guy?
Get Pearson on the show.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He's hilarious. And then a good bit, and then like kind of everyone else.
Oh, a little gas. So there's just 2 and then the rest.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we got 2 at the top. Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
I
that.
figured Coop would be somewhere on there, but I guess he's somewhere. He's so much just.
He's
himself.
at the top
Yeah.
of the everyone
The
else.
second
Top of
tier.
everyone
Yeah.
else. Okay. Okay, so back to the catch. Milazzo does his deal, and then who are the other guys behind the dish?
Brady Neal, he surprised me when he came in. He just kind of does his thing back there.
Right.
It's pretty solid. And then Jared Jones hits the ball really hard.
Jared Jones.
you-
That's a great baseball
You
name,
make a
too.
mistake.
Oh.
You make a mistake over the middle. It's
It's hit
100
hard.
plus. It's double home run, whatever.
Wow. That's exciting.
Interesting. Got a lot to cover.
There's a lot. I mean, I feel like you can have 2 teams with the
Mhm.
guys you have on the route. Now, they obviously have to. Jay's got a tough job
Yeah.
because I think you also have too many guys on the team, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think, based off of the going back down to 35. So he's going to have to figure out.
No, but it's 35 plus COVID seniors because COVID seniors
Oh.
don't count.
When does
That's a
this
huge
thing
thing.
get over?
I think this has to be last year.
I
Yeah,
think
I think
it's
it's
the
the
last
last
year
one.
of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we have maybe 4 COVID seniors, so it's
So you
like
have 39 guys.
spots.
Damn. COVID really fucked some stuff up, huh?
And then made some things great, like this. You can add 4 more players.
You're right.
True.
You're right.
So I mean, I got a question for you, dude. Like the fall's over right now, right?
Mhm.
We're winding down the end of the football season. New calendar year is coming up soon. For you, like this will be your second year here. Second year here, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
But I didn't think you had the COVID year too. Second year here.
No, true stuff.
Right, that's what I thought. Second year here, and obviously you've played a lot of baseball throughout your life. What's like for you? Like, what's like the most exciting part about like the prospect of starting a new season? Like, what gets you going when you come back to school and you be like, oh shit, like it's here. Like, what's the most exciting part for you?
I think it's just get to play baseball. I mean, I love baseball, but I think the most exciting thing is just getting to watch like all the other guys. I get to watch Paul Skeens
Yeah, like do it for real.
do it for real.
Yeah.
I get to watch Dylan do it for real again.
Yeah.
He's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Get to watch Tommy hopefully hit 30 plus jacks again. So it's kind of being able to compete with those guys, and instead of them being on the opposite team, I get to be like, oh, that's fun. I'm not throwing a Dylan Cruz. I get to watch Dylan Cruz.
So you're a legit
Go.
fan of the game then.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Are you so obviously you can cliche me to death and you can do the coach speak and say, well, look, we got to focus on the games that we have.
1 game at a time.
Yeah, one game at a time the whole day. I get
Series
it.
at a time.
I've been there, say that, done that, believe it. It's a true thing. But at the same time, you look at the schedule and you're like, all right, this one I can't wait to play. Right, this series I'm looking forward to. This one, like let's go. Is there a specific series that's on the schedule that you're like, all right?
Is this a loaded question?
No,
It
because
does feel like it.
because last year, let's say I'm sure you're like, I want to play against my brother. Like, I'm sure that was one that you had circled on there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's one I have in mind, but I just want to know what he's looking forward to.
Yeah. I think kind of the ones I'm most excited for are like the games with specific guys pitching. Like I want to face like the Dollander. Like I want to face Herschel Waldrop again. I want to because he shoved
Right.
it up our butt for 7
Yeah.
innings. Like
Yeah,
that'd
yeah.
be fun to
Yeah, no doubt.
to face guys like that because those guys are really good. I don't think there's a specific like series per se, but I think it's always fun to see like
Match yourself up against the best.
match yourself up or watch those guys and then watch kind of the battle of maybe they get us in the first 2 innings, but then someone puts one in the gap and then walk, and then Dylan Cruz hits a home run, and then like stuff like that.
Last year the strength of the pitching staff was the bullpen. Right, I think
Mhm.
that was they had some talented starters, kind of up and down, but the bullpen was always. It just felt like they pitched well from the beginning and whatever. You lose some of those guys that pitch in the back end of the bullpen. Some of those guys are maybe not starting or wherever they are. How is the bullpen going to look? Because starting pitching, it seems like it's super deep. You have a very good pitching staff. Who do you expect to step up and be the closer, the anchor of the bullpen, or guys that you can just count on coming out of the bullpen?
I can't really give you that answer because I mean there's
a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, and if you
Deep.
Love that.
of the guys who have thrown like the starting roles of the fall, like some of those guys are going to get bumped back to the pen
Yeah,
than
true.
those guys. But we also don't know who the three are that are going to take those starting spots. So the other three are going to be the
Yeah.
closer, the whatever it may be. So I think it just kind of all shakes out to who the three are at the
I like
end of
that.
the season.
And do you think this is a year where probably more than ever where you see it happen more in season? Like they can attest to this with Paul Maneri whenever he did like a midseason shakeup, right? Where he moved somebody, he moved DJ LeMahieu from shortstop to second.
That was
where
like
he was
an end of the season shakeup.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, end of the season shakeup. But I don't think it'll be to that extent. But because you have so many guys, and I don't want to say a limited amount of time, but you don't really know what you got till you get into a game. Do you think that the team that you see at the beginning of the year is going to be far different than the team that you see in the middle of the year? Just I feel like people are going to define their roles differently, and everybody can play. We know that, but it's just about finding where they're most comfortable in when the season gets going. Whether it be somebody gets hot, what have you, or like they feel more comfortable in the pen. I feel like this is going to be a year where Jay Johnson has to probably tinker the most because of all of the new pieces.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the beauty of like the amount of talent that we do have is we don't have to have our
Set in stone,
our
right?
Omaha lineups
Yeah.
first
Right.
week. We can kind of Jay Johnson can kind of play around with it a little bit, and then also I feel like in college baseball it always mixes up a little bit. It might mix, some seasons might mix up a little bit more than others, but I think the guys that we started with last year were different than the guys we
Yeah.
ended with, and then years prior, I mean, Will Homer's a pitcher now, and he was the game one starter his freshman year. So I think it always kind of changes.
That's crazy.
Or
It is,
the
it's
game
just-
one game one third baseman.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, you're awesome. This was, I mean, great interview. You're making me very excited. But football season, college football season, basically over. So it's
Did you enjoy
about to
football
be
season?
It's about to be your turn.
Yeah.
Go to
Did you
the
play?
games?
Did you play any other sports in high school?
I did in like ninth grade. I played football in ninth grade.
So you
but-
just after that was just baseball.
Yeah,
Or you
it was
just baseball guy.
baseball.
His dad's over there working the phones. He was trying not to get his kids on college.
You're a
baseball.
two-way guy in
Yeah,
high school,
yeah.
though, right? You're a hitter too. You hit some.
Mhm.
You hit some
All the way
bombs.
through? All the way
Played a
through.
couple. Yeah, all the way through.
Nice.
Yeah, he put.
position
I was
play?
thinking-
First base.
Okay.
Yeah, don't let him run too much out there. We need him on the mound. So,
Just keep those
Yeah.
legs. Just hit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
but man, yeah, this is a good, entertaining football season for y'all.
Yeah,
Right?
it was fun.
Like,
It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was better than last year.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
The thing is, y'all are forced to rush the field because of where you have to sit. So it's more of a health thing, you know?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
So whenever the
the whole-
LSU
the
Alabama
team-
game, you got to go down there.
Do the guys like all go to the games?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Bama game we had our UL was that the ULL
Oh,
weekend?
it was. The next day was the
Yeah,
yellow
so
game.
we had a bus leaves at like
Oh,
I don't know 8, and the
Sleeping
whole
at the
team's
facility,
like
coach.
I can't leave, like we're
Yeah, you gotta
about to
stay,
beat
yeah.
Bama
right.
in overtime, like
Yeah.
I can't leave now, and so we all like rushed the field, and then like
They had to go back.
everyone rushed back home to try and get some sleep before, but
So nobody missed the bus. That's what you tell
No.
me.
Y'all
missed the bus.
dominated that scrimmage too, right?
Yeah.
Y'all played really well with that, right?
you probably had some UL cats there at the LSU Alabama game.
It's
They're
possible.
like, oh, God, I gotta get
It's
back
possible.
to UL.
It's possible.
Maybe possible.
Me, I would have done it.
Well, there's
That's
a lot
probably
of
why
things
you weren't
would've
playing at UL.
done. There's a lot of things you would have done. All right, we know this.
Blue guy.
Who are your roommates? Who you live with?
Kel Lansville, Jason Bowman.
Oh, he's transferring.
Yeah,
right?
he's transferring,
Yeah.
and then Connor Simon, who was on the team last year.
Okay.
But he
Yeah.
had a bunch of elbow issues, so he quit.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun house. I miss college.
Dude.
Should I go back? I miss it just a little bit.
Get your master's.
What do you miss about it? Living on campus?
Oh, I didn't live on campus.
Ever?
I'm on first year. That's it.
Oh, what I was about to say. What
I
you
lived.
mean?
I do miss my house after that though. It was Austin Nola's grandparents' old house. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Good
Forgot
spot.
about that.
Good spot.
LBP.
Good spot. Huh?
Were you both ready?
No. Staying away from
We had our own spot. But dude, you're awesome, man. This was a great interview. Anytime you want to come on, listen. Baseball season is right around the corner. I love it. MLB free agency is kind of getting baseball back into the conversation. And then once January, I feel like I always felt when I was in college, once January 1 hit and you get through those bowl games, you really start feeling, especially around here, like baseball start to get talked about a lot. Now basketball obviously is there, but they weren't very good when we were here. So I was like, I'm looking forward to it. You're going to see us around a lot. Hopefully we have some pregame shows or doing some stuff over there, but I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Anytime you want to
Thank you.
come on. And like I said, we just shoot the shit and hang out and talk. We got the get to know you interview over. At this point, we can just talk. We can talk shop next time you come
Yeah,
on.
next time you come on this, we're hammering you with personal questions. I don't care.
Yeah, get ready. Get ready. Nah, we're not in the embarrassing
We ain't gonna
business.
do that to
He
you.
may. He may. This-
Watch out for him.
Yeah,
Have you
Right
ever
here.
seen this? You may be telling. Have you ever seen MacGruber? The show MacGruber.
No.
See?
Too young. He's MacGruber. He looks just like him.
He said, "See."
Just like him. It's a comedian. You know the comedian. What's the comedian's name?
He's on SNL. And he Barry? Same guy that plays Barry?
No.
I don't know.
Okay, you're an idiot.
I've never even seen MacGruber.
You need to. It's your twin. It's your
I
dog.
went to go see MacGruber. We rented it at the house, and then I got followed home by police before a golf tournament at like 11. They followed me from the Jackson Street CVS all the way to Horseshoe. Pulled into my driveway behind me, and I was like, "Brother, it's over. I'm here. Like, the mission is over. Can't get me. Like, I don't know what you're trying to prove here."
So
but
what did they follow you for?
I have no clue.
Suspicion.
I just look suspicious.
You do look
I'm
suspicious.
just buying Gatorade.
That's
for-
definitely
More
fitting.
about.
Definitely
You
fitting.
look more suspicious around schools than you do around driving.
I don't know. Like short hair
Not a lot
Lloyd to
around
fool
the
you now.
school.
He kind of looked like he was, buttoned up.
Yeah, it was short hair Lloyd.
Oh yeah, true.
I
Yeah, I would've
was
followed you, too.
profiled.
If you saw his license, you'd be like, this ain't the same person.
That's the
I
same
don't know.
guy.
Um.
I tried the corporate world. It wasn't for me.
Oh, really?
All right. We're gonna take a little break. Let Grant get out of here. Appreciate you coming on, dude.
problem. Thank you.
Big fan of yours. Looking forward to watching you kill it and
Just do what you did at the
get
Cape.
out of here. Just keep doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep doing what
Yeah,
you're
just,
doing.
just be you. Just be you.
Yep.
You do you, boo boo, and we'll be all right.
It'll be all right.
All right. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We'll be back in